Okay. Getting all my wires sorted out here. There we go. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nitya Nanda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Rama Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parabrajakacharyastutara Satta Shri Shrimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta
Jai.
Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Si Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai Mathura Dhama Ki Jai Navadvip Dhama Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Shama Beta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Srila Prabhupada says, can't you see them? All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Okay. So, thank you for giving me this opportunity, allowing me to speak. Today, we're going to make one little class. Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple. Simple for the simple. We do not need a very big brain. Actually, Srila Prabhupada wants us to read all his books. But the business of reading his books, Srila Prabhupada says that when the pure devotee, the Acharya, speaks, there is on Krishna's lotus feet, there's the saffron dust particles. And when the Krishna's intimate associate, eternal intimate associate, and when he's speaking, his words are decorated with the saffron dust particles of Krishna's lotus feet. So when we read those words, or when we hear those words, we are receiving the saffron dust particles of Krishna's lotus feet. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, read my books. Read my books, because by the more that we are in touch, the more that we are in association with Krishna, therefore we are becoming purified. It is not that we have to become very... Of course, Srila Prabhupada wants us to have also philosophical grounding, so we can understand, we have a sense of direction, where we're going in this life. But it is more a question of, in Bhagavad Gita, at chapter 10, verse 10, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pratipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam jenayatma suprasidati. As Srila Prabhupada says in the last paragraph of that purport, that even if one cannot have a very good philosophical comprehension. Even if one has a bona fide spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada writes, but he doesn't understand everything. But simply if he's sincere within his heart, Krishna will give him all ability how to advance towards Krishna. So the most important part of our whole process is the sincerity of our heart. After all, how much do we have to understand? I'm not this body. I'm an eternal spirit soul. Somehow or other, I've fallen into the clutches of the material energy, the process of repeated birth and death in the material world. But I'm as an eternal spirit soul, I'm part of Krishna. I'm part of Krishna. Actually, there cannot be in any. We think sometimes God is very far away. But actually, we're part of Krishna. We cannot be separated from Krishna. We are God. I am God. You are God. But we're not the supreme God. We're Krishna's tiny, infinitesimal part and parcel, just like every cell. Maybe there are millions, billions, or trillions of cells in our body, our material body. But every cell is part of this body. It is body. In the same way, we are in touch with Krishna all the time. We can't be separated from Krishna. So what is the problem? Problem is that Srila Prabhupada says the material world is situated inside the spiritual world. Material world is situated inside the spiritual world. We're in the spiritual world, but the material world is just like sometimes we're living wherever we are, and there's a cloud in the sky. Cloud in the sky. So it's blocking the sun. It's not really blocking the sun, but it's blocking us from experiencing the sun. The sun of Krishna is always shining. The cloud is insignificant for Krishna, but for us, the cloud of material consciousness, the cloud of the influence of the material nature, is very significant. We cannot cross over that material nature and see Krishna and see the spiritual world, which is omnipresent. Krishna is omnipresent. Krishna is in our heart. Krishna is in between every atom, and Krishna is in every atom, and the material energy is one of Krishna's energies. So whatever we touch, we're always in touch with Krishna. So what did we have to do? It's only a matter of cultivating that consciousness. Now, Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple. Yeah. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada speaks very nicely, very highly, very appreciatively about the Matajis, the ladies, the girls in our movement. Why? Because he says that women have this very beautiful quality. What is that? that the heart is soft. The heart of the woman is soft. Men, they're more tending to be intellectual. They're tending to be more conceptual, more about business, more about so many practical, so-called practical things. Actually, only practical thing is how to go back to the spiritual world, how to go back home, back to Godhead. But the Matajis, they have this softness of heart. I read just the other day that Srila Prabhupada was writing in all the different religious systems, Hindu, Christian, Buddha, Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Jew. Whenever there's a spiritual meeting, you see more, the ladies are more present because they're more inclined towards spiritual life than the men. So Srila Prabhupada speaks in this way. So that we're talking simple for the simple. Why is it simple? Because only one thing is required in order to become a devotee. Only one quality is required to become a devotee. Most important quality. Srila Prabhupada uses this word, essence. Priti purvakam. Priti. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvak. Priti means love. He says this is the essential quality by which one can become. And in chapter 2, chapter 9, verse 2 of Bhagavad Gita, as Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport, Krishna accepts, just like Krishna says, what does he say? That patram pushpam phalam toyam, the leaf, patram, fruit, water, a leaf, a fruit, a little water, patram pushpam phalam toyam. He says that, he said, Krishna he doesn't need anything, but Krishna likes to be loved. Therefore, this is the purpose why we exist, because Krishna likes to be loved. So he says, but Krishna doesn't need anything from us. He needs nothing. But he'll accept. So Srila Prabhupada says, the leaf, the fruit, the water, a little of Krishna. He says these things are not the important. What's important is how much we approach Krishna with love. Some man can come and put a million, a billion, or $1 trillion in the donation box at any temple. But Krishna, he is interested in how much we love. We cannot buy our way to Krishna Loka, and we cannot earn our way to Krishna Loka. It's not a question of, how many books have I distributed? No. It goes in our bank account, our devotional bank account. But what Krishna is really looking for is how much we love him, how much we're cultivating our love for him. So, Srila Prabhupada said, that is the essential feature. Therefore, the women, they are more at an advantage because their hearts are more soft than the men. Yes. So, how to love. So it's explained. Actually, Srila Prabhupada says our hearts, that if we're not being moved when we're reading about Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's transcendental pastimes with his devotees, if we're not being moved to tears, he says it's only because our hearts are steel framed. We have a steel frame around our heart. Steel framed hearts. Stone-hearted men. So, therefore, what is this? Mode of passion. Mode of passion, one is always thinking. He has a plan and he has a goal. That he is goal-oriented. And if he has a goal and he accomplishes that goal, he's momentarily happy. And if he doesn't accomplish that goal, then there may be sadness, there may be lamentation, there may be frustration, there may be anger. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, as long as we are goal-oriented, for what? For material accomplishment. To accomplish, to achieve. He says it's not possible to have a devotional feeling. That Krishna consciousness and material consciousness, Krishna consciousness and material consciousness, they're mutually exclusive. A person who is in material consciousness, he cannot be devotionally conscious. His heart is attached to the outcome of his activity, is called fruitive. He wants to taste that fruit instead of the fruit of love of Krishna. As long as we are, what to speak of the mode of ignorance, the mode of ignorance also is also fruitive, is also in lamentation. Lamentation, we're living in the world of past, present, and future. Actually, in the spiritual world, there's only the present time, the present moment, the eternal present moment. But in this world, and what is past is past. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in one poem, forget the past. Forget the past, he says, the past that sleeps. It's asleep. It's like it's gone, can never go back. Forget the past that sleeps, and ne'er the future, never a future dream at all. But act in times that are with you, and progress you shall call. Yeah, so not to be in the past, and not to be in the future. Yeah, but to be living in, as long as our hearts are lamenting over something in the past, as long as our hearts are scheming, thinking, planning, and focused on the future, we cannot be with Krishna. Can only be with Krishna in the present. Krishna says the same thing. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma na sochati, na kankshati, not lamenting, not desiring, not lamenting. Lamenting is living in the past. And desiring is wanting to achieve something, to acquire something. So Krishna says, as long as my heart is in the future and in the past, it's not possible. So he says, but if I can come to this platform of living in the present, Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. Bhagavad Gita 1854. So that Mad Bhaktim Labhate, now one can be a devotee. Now one can have feelings of love for Krishna. We already have feelings of love, but our love is gone in the past and the future. It's called attachment. There's one verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that says the same attachment that we have for the things of this material world, when that same attachment is applied to Krishna and Krishna's pure devotee, he says that attachment to the things of this world is the cause of bondage to the cycle of birth and death. And the attachment to Krishna and Krishna, same attachment, it says in that verse in Bhagavatam, same attachment applied to Krishna and Krishna's pure devotee is the cause of our liberation. So, we have to learn how. Therefore, how do we transfer our attachment? We read in Bhagavad Gita, again and again, the qualities that we need to cultivate, need to develop. Don't be attached to the fruits of your activity. How can one do that? How can one be? So this is called, therefore, Srila Prabhupada is wanting us to cultivate what? Brahminical life, the mode of goodness. So what is the quality of the mode of goodness? The man who is in the mode of passion or the mode of ignorance, what is his happiness based on? It's based on, in the future maybe I'll get something that I want from outside for gratifying my senses, subtle and gross. And then the mode of ignorance is the lamenting about some external activity. They didn't treat me nice. They didn't give me honor. I lost this. I lost that. This happened. But all of this is part of the material world. So it's an outside job. Happiness in the material world is an external job. Happiness in the material world is an outside job. But in the Brahminical platform of life, happiness is an inside job. Happiness is an inside job. It's a happiness of the heart that is independent of external circumstance. Hot and cold, wet and dry, victory and defeat, success and failure. All of these things are external, but the Brahmin, the man, the woman, the person in the mode of goodness is starting to feel a sense of happiness within his heart. It makes no difference if it's rainy outside or if it's sunny outside. It makes no difference if he has success or failure. I was, my better half, my Darbesha, she sometimes says that when she was in Nepal and she was seeing the priests, the monks, the Buddhist monks, when they're living in the monastery, and they have to do the same things we're doing. They're cooking, they're cleaning, they're repairing, they're making a goal. Someone is handling finance. So everything that we have in the material world, you have in a spiritual institution as well. But when something was not working properly, they would laugh. They would chuckle. What gives a person the ability to chuckle when things don't work the way we plan? It's because their happiness is not based on the fruits of their outward activity. The happiness is inside, and it's a constant. So how do we? This is called the mode of goodness. Mode of goodness, Srila Prabhupada writes, makes a person happy. Not happy because of the external affairs, happiness inside the heart. And we have to cultivate like that. Why do we have to cultivate like that? It's because only a happy heart, when we approach Krishna with a happy heart, then when we approach Srila Prabhupada with a happy heart, then we can have a sense of connection. A sense of connection. There's a sense of, what is that? Yoga means to connect. This is bhakti yoga. Doesn't mean we connect how? With our philosophy? That's called jnana yoga. No, Krishna doesn't. Krishna says, bahunam janmanam ante, after thousands of births of philosophy, one realizes they have to become a devotee. And then they take up where we're starting. They have to do thousands of births first. That's the jnana yogi. And the hatha yogi, the ashtanga yogi, he has to do tremendous austerity. He has to do tremendous meditation. He has to meditate. In the Satya Yuga, they're meditating for some 50,000 years, 60,000 years, to come to the point of understanding that I'm not these material elements by direct perception, but that I'm spirit. And if he then he takes up bhakti. Lord Chaitanya is introducing, giving us freely this process that begins from the acceptance that I'm spirit soul and my business is that I'm Krishna's devotee, that my only business is to cultivate my feelings of love for Krishna. As Srila Prabhupada says, that we're transferring the account. Sometimes we have money in one bank account and we transfer to another bank account. The money is the same, but the account is different. Srila Prabhupada says, transfer the account. For the account of transferring our affection for the things of this world to the things of the spiritual world. That is transferring the account. So, Krishna explained that it's very difficult, almost impossible. In many places, Srila Prabhupada writes, it's almost impossible for a person in the mode of passion and ignorance to have devotional feeling. We say, but we're so much captivated by the objects of our senses. How can one possibly get free? The idea is that when one is in devotional consciousness, the material energy loses complete grip. When we are in material consciousness, we cannot feel our connection with spiritual consciousness. And when we are in spiritual consciousness, the material energy can't touch us. That knowledge, all the knowledge of the scriptures, and detachment, vairagya, jnana vairagya, knowledge and detachment, these are the byproducts, the effortless, spontaneous byproducts of devotion in the heart for Krishna and Krishna's pure devotee. So then we're completely protected from Maya as long as we are in devotional consciousness. Therefore, we cultivate this Krishna consciousness, but we have to elevate ourselves to the mode of goodness. The first quality of the Brahman, chapter 1842 Bhagavad Gita. First quality, samodamastapashocham shantirarjavam evacha. First quality is peace in the heart. These are the qualities by which the Brahman, by which the Brahman lives, by which the Brahman is. Now it says this is the quality by which the Brahman works. He's working too. He has to do all the things that we do. He maintains his house. He has some occupation. He has to clean. He has to cook. He has to fix. He has to repair. He has to maintain. But he's working, just like you and me. He's not over-endeavoring, but he works. But he has peace in his heart. This is the quality by which the Brahman works, says in Bhagavad Gita. In other words, in all of these activities, he's feeling peace in his heart. He's not thinking, oh, if this works out, I'll be happy, and if it doesn't work out, I'll be frustrated. I'll feel defeated. Never feeling defeated. He's happy. He's cheerful. He has knowledge. Krishna's in control. Every activity is simply another module, another opportunity by which through which I can cultivate a feeling of devotion. Here I have this activity, cutting potatoes. I'm cutting potatoes, but whose potatoes and for who? So I cut for Krishna very nicely, very sweetly, very nice pieces, doing it in a way and with a mind, a mentality in mind that this is for Krishna. It's called devotional service. So Srila Krishna says in the 17th chapter, he talks about this quality, inner quality of peace in the heart. In chapter 17, Divisions of Faith, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes this word, in his mana prasada. Mana prasada. Mana prasada, Srila Prabhupada translate, satisfaction of the mind. And in the verse, Srila Prabhupada uses the word serenity. Serenity, to be serene, to feel peaceful within one's heart. And in verse 17:17, Krishna talks about this cultivation of serenity in the heart. You're doing the same activities, but you're in a mood of serenity. Krishna says in 17:17 that the person, that we can cultivate this serenity in a very special way. Because many people have many different, you go online, you can see there are people cultivating serenity, but it's so that they can be happy. But Krishna says, if you should cultivate, we should cultivate, I should cultivate serenity. How? Krishna says, if they do it for my pleasure. Krishna says we can cultivate serenity for his pleasure. Look in verse 17:17. Those who cultivate this quality, Krishna says this, cultivating this serenity in the heart, he says, there are different austerities in this world. Some people, they fast. They're very hungry. They become emaciated. They are starving themselves. Some people are they're not wearing warm clothing, and they're sitting with wet clothes on the glacier at the top of the mountains. They're freezing themselves. Some people, as described in the Vedas, they're sitting, surrounded by fires in the summertime when it's 90, 100 degrees, not warm enough for them. They're sitting surrounded by fires on all sides. So these are austerities. They want to develop, some mystic power, what have you. Yogis. Krishna says that there's he says tapasya, austerity. He says if people do this, it's cultivating this serenity in the heart. He says this is the to please me, Krishna says. For my pleasure, cultivate serenity, because I like you to be this way. Krishna likes Brahmins very, very much. He says if you cultivate this serenity in your heart to please me, he says, this is your austerity. This is the austerity of the mind. This is word for word. You look at 17:17, Bhagavad Gita. The austerity of the mind in the mode of goodness. Develop this austerity. So why does Krishna want us to develop this serenity, satisfaction of the mind? Krishna explains in the 18th chapter that this cultivation of inner serenity of the heart, which Krishna describes in 1852 or 53, dhyana yoga para nityam. Dhyana yoga para dhyana, meditation. Meditation and yoga, para, a higher taste. Nityam, Srila Prabhupada says in the word for word, 24 hours a day, nityam. And in the verse number 18 53, Krishna uses this word, shanta, peace, peacefulness. So he says, one who dhyana yoga para nityam, 24 hours a day in this shanti, in this peace, it expands within the heart to what? Krishna says it will come to the realization. What is that realization? It's described in the first word of 1854. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. Brahma, he begins to understand that I'm not this body, I'm spirit. And what is the immediate result? Prasanatma. He becomes joyful within the heart. Srila Prabhupada translates Prasanatma, joyful within the heart. And so that, in other words, developing this ability to be inner satisfied, to be peaceful, to be serene within the heart expands so that we begin to experience ourselves as spirit soul, joyful within the heart, prasanatma. And what is the effect of one who becomes joyful within the heart? Na sochati, na kankshati, no more lamentation, no more desiring, hankering. He become free. He become free, and the next thing is sama sarveshu bhuteshu. He starts to see everyone else as a spiritual being because we see each other in terms of the quality of our own heart. If I see somebody bad, if I see somebody that I have resent, that because I say, oh, he has such bad quality, it's a picture of our own heart. What we're seeing, it means that's where we are. That's a mirror. What do we see? This world is like a mirror. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, how does he say that? I can't, I'm trying to remember the phrase. Atmavan manyate jagat. We see the jagat, the world, in terms of the quality of our own heart. So when we understand our own beauty to some little degree, we start to see the beauty of everyone else. And we don't, just like in the Bible, it says, judge not, that you be not judged. Why? Look, if I see somebody, he's doing something bad by material standards, do I see him in terms of his material nature? Or do I see him in terms of his real nature as spirit soul? If I see him in terms of his material nature, that he's identifying with his material nature, and I'm identifying him with it, I'm on the same platform as he is. So one who has this starting to develop this joyfulness within the heart that frees him from Brahma Bhuta, prasanatma, joyfulness in the heart. He has his lamentation goes away for material circumstance. His desire for thinking that if I get this, then I'll be happy, that evaporates. And because he's beginning to see his own beauty, he can see the beauty in others. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu. Sama, all. Sama is, he sees, sarveshu means all bhuteshu, all living entities. Sama, he sees them the same. And then what does Krishna say? In such a state of mind, now one can begin to feel love. And Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, becoming joyful in the heart, no more hankering, no more lament, na sochati na kankshati, seeing the beauty of all others, sama sarveshu bhuteshu, now what? Mad bhaktim labate param, now you can feel bhakti towards me. There's a prerequisite to come to this platform whereby spiritual life can begin. Whereby spiritual life can begin to feel devotion and enjoy it. Why you enjoy it? You enjoy it because as soon as we approach Srila Prabhupada or Krishna with a loving feeling in our heart, immediately, without separate endeavor, we have a sense of living reciprocation. Then we know. Srila Prabhupada says, blind following is condemned. Read it. Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Read the purport. Srila Prabhupada said, blind following is condemned. You're doing it all mechanically with the hope that one day I'll have some realization. This is called blind. The opposite of blind is that I'm experiencing that this is Krishna consciousness is a reality. I have a relationship eternally with Krishna. And I'm experiencing. Therefore, it's not blind following. But in order to have the sense of reciprocation, therefore Srila Prabhupada writes, and I have it on my computer, that if one engages in all these devotional activities, mechanically, Srila Prabhupada uses this word, mechanically. Mechanically, he says, the process, the chanting the holy name, you know, going to Mangal Arti, the Tulsi Puja, distributing the books, taking prasadam. Everyone cutting potatoes, sweeping the floor. So, if one does all of these activities mechanically, Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for coming. So nice to see you. If one does all these activities mechanically, Srila Prabhupada says, there will be a mitigation of our discomforts of material life. The unwanted miseries, Srila Prabhupada says, they'll subside. But as Srila Prabhupada says, however, doing mechanically will not serve to reawaken our dormant love for Krishna. If we engage in Krishna consciousness mechanically, there will be a mitigation of the unwanted miseries of material existence, but this kind of engagement in Krishna consciousness will not serve to reawaken our dormant love of Krishna. Unquote. So, therefore we have to come to the platform of feeling devotional, feeling love. Therefore therefore the mode of goodness is our best friend. And Krishna says, this mind, just like we were saying, Krishna says, the austerities of the mind, the austerity of the mind in the mode of goodness is to feel serenity within the heart. Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita 17, so our austerity, so 18, chapter 18, the different austerity is called the perfection of renunciation. The perfection of renunciation. We have to, so what he says, na sochati na kankshati. No more lamentation, no more hankering. What do we have to, so the perfection of renunciation is not to give anything up exactly. The perfection of renunciation is to give up being attached to our hankering and lamentation. That's what we have to renounce. That's the perfection of renunciation. To stop being grasping after the past and after the future. That's what, and to live in the present of Krishna consciousness. So, therefore, Srila Prabhupada wants us to come to the mode of goodness, wherein we begin to have the satisfaction in our heart so that we can become detached from the fruits of our activities and the disappointments of the past. And we become free enough to transfer the account. Instead of being attached to the things of this world, we become attached to Krishna and his pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. And we can feel it. We're no longer blind followers, mechanically doing, thinking that one time in the future maybe I'll have some Krishna consciousness. Actually will not ever work that way. It's not a question of earning our realization. It's a question of accepting that I'm Krishna's part and parcel. He wants my love. Now, therefore Srila Prabhupada says, Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, verse 72 purport, first sentence. One can have this Krishna consciousness or divine life at once, within a second. It's only a question of understanding and accepting that this is a fact. So we have to cultivate the ability to open our hearts. No longer to be blind follower. Bhagavad Gita 4:34, blind following is condemned because it will not give us the Krishna consciousness that we wish to develop. So, we're very fortunate. That's why Krishna consciousness is so simple that Lord Chaitanya is giving freely what no incarnation has ever even offered before. He's telling us that we are pure spirit soul and that Krishna wants our love, and that Srila Prabhupada is here to receive our love on Krishna's behalf. And when Yasya Prasada Bhagavat Prasada, Yasya Prasada Na Katir Katovi, that I should always remember my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and when he's pleased, he will open the door so that I can now begin to direct that same love towards Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for letting me talk to you in this way.
Jai, Hare Krishna. We have Ishan Prabhu. We have Ishan Prabhu. You talked about that quote. Forget the past that sleeps. So the past, which has happened already, we have no control over.
Right.
And the future, which we don't know about.
That's why the past is ignorant, because we're hoping that something that can't be changed could be different. That's called the mode of ignorance.
Yeah, so I mean, so what value is the past? I mean, we have a Krishna consciousness. How does that assist us going back to past? Meaning, with his past stories of different yugas, that is, I guess, considered spiritual in essence because it's relating with Krishna. So it's not the past, in one sense, I guess, right?
Can you say that again in different words?
I'm saying that we have so many pastimes of Srila Prabhupada from different yugas.
Oh, that's different.
Yes.
That's anything in relation with Srila Prabhupada is eternal. That's why it says in Scripture that if you had one moment, and it's smaller than that, I think it's called a lava. I don't know what a lava is. It's a fraction, tiniest fraction of a second association with a pure devotee. That can get you to Krishna Loka. So how does that work? And that may be, I met Srila Prabhupada. One person will say 5 years ago, or one person will say 50 years ago, or so what does this mean? That if one has a moment, it means that if one can have a moment of sincere memory of Srila Prabhupada, it continues to expand within our heart. It continues to expand. Even one moment, if somebody had a moment's nice association with Srila Prabhupada, or in reading his book, or in seeing his picture, or in hearing him speak, or in hearing Srila Prabhupada sing bhajans. They're so beautiful. So if one has that, plants that in their heart, that memory, the more one it will expand. It purifies our heart, and what the whole idea is, it's called, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, first chapter, verse number 47 in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that what we actually learn from a pure devotee, we imbibe the taste of his feeling or her feeling towards Krishna. We get the taste of their feeling. And so this, by feeling their devotion, their feeling of love for Krishna, This is what awakens the love of Krishna that is dormant within us. And this is the whole process of Krishna consciousness. It's like a log is fuel. If you burn it, it moves things, it cooks things, it makes a machine work, and a steam engine. A log is fuel. But we want, and it's in the book, in the Shastra, that smoke is better than dead wood, and flame is better than smoke. So why is this metaphor being described? That Srila Prabhupada, he has the flame of love of Krishna in his heart, and we have a piece of wood for a heart. So, but if our wooden heart comes in touch with his burning flame, then our wood will come into flame too. So the moment's association with the pure devotee, this can take us back home, back to Godhead. So even if any memory that we have of Srila Prabhupada, that past is not material past. That is totally transcendental. It's alive. It's alive, and it always expands within us the more we cultivate it. So that is not what we mean by forget the past. That's, if we're going to talk in those terms, of course we say remember the past. No, not forget. So does that make sense, Prabhu?
Yes, yes. Mother Rashisha has a question or comment as well.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. I have a question. Many years ago, I used to go on Ekadasi days, fasting and spending the night reading and chanting japa more and more. But now I find it very difficult. I don't know if there is a way you can give me, it could be more easy, spontaneous.
We used to, I remember when I was first coming in touch with Krishna consciousness, I was living in Montreal, and that's where you live too, yeah. So I went to New York because Srila Prabhupada was in New York, and I wanted, that opportunity. But it was Ekadasi, we couldn't eat grains. So Brahmananda, he was the temple president, and very big man, and very jolly and energetic. I remember he said, now it's Ekadasi. Prabhu, they would deep fry peanuts, and everybody's plate would have a pile of peanuts this big. It was Ekadasi. I don't. So, what Srila Prabhupada says, that food is for keeping body and soul together. We can't help to enjoy it. He says, don't try not to enjoy it. You can't help enjoying. But take what? Food like medicine, Srila Prabhupada said. Taking care of the body. Just like you go to the gas station for the car, it needs gas, it needs oil, it needs this, it needs that. we're maintaining the equipment, maintaining the machine to use it for a certain purpose. Or we want to maintain the machine to use it for devotional service. So the goal is not to maintain the machine. We're maintaining the machine for devotional service. So whatever is helpful in our devotional service is the highest principle. If we have to eat more to be able to have a devotional attitude or ability to do some service, we eat more. If we have to eat less in order to have a better devotional attitude, because if I eat too much, I'm not going to be able to do my service. There will be repercussions. So if I become ill, so the goal is not to be austere. The goal of Ekadasi is to try to be more devotional. So if eating in a certain way makes you feel more happy and cheerful and healthy and strong enough to be devotional, then that's the highest purpose. The goal is not the austerity, the goal is the devotion. So in my own way, I'm faltering with my words, but let's see if I can put it in one sentence. Whatever helps you to be more devotional on Ekadasi, that's the best thing for you to do. And I'm 100% sure I put my life on it. That Srila Prabhupada would say yes. That this is, if eating, you eat in a way that makes you feel most capable of your spiritual life, and then that is the best and the most strongest way to honor Ekadashi. Even I was thinking sometimes I'm out of touch with devotees living alone here in the forest, so sometimes I missed the Ekadasi. Then I thought, oh my goodness. I read a letter by Srila Prabhupada. He said, if you missed Ekadasi, do it the next day. I thought it's astrologically, now I've done a great sin. Now my spiritual life is condemned. Now, it's not like that for us. Srila Prabhupada said, you missed Ekadasi, do it the next day. So it's not, in other words, these things, the exact date, the exact food, the exact this, the exact that. The goal is to be more devotional, whatever makes you feel more comfortable so that you can do your service. That's what Srila Prabhupada wants from us. This is my conviction. Does that make sense for you?
It makes sense in a way, but I think that it needs intelligence. So I'm not very intelligent. Understanding. You talk very much about understanding, accepting understanding, but if you don't understand, it's hard to be accepted. But I pray to get more understanding.
What you don't understand, Prabhu?
Excuse me?
What is it that you're not understanding?
Reading, I read all Prabhupada's books. I read, and I still read, but there is for sure things that I don't understand because it would be different in my life.
Prabhu, I'm a neophyte devotee, Really, I'm condition. I'm a kanista adhikari. I identify with this body as myself, hot and cold. I did. So I can only speak to you in terms of my little understanding also. There's many things in Srila Prabhupada's books.
So many.
But I'm just saying that that, and he gives us so many. When Srila Prabhupada was first talking to his first students, he was giving them how they should, what they should, don't do this. He said, if you knew all the rules, then he said you would faint. So we have books of rules, Hari Bhakti Vilas. I've never read but the only thing that make us able to, like Raghunath Das Goswami was eating a little piece of butter every day, right? That's all. Yeah. But I can't live like that. We can't live like that. But the idea is, what enables us to appear austere? Raghunath wasn't trying to be austere. It's a byproduct of his love for Krishna is so beautiful that he's no more experiencing hunger and thirst. Just like Maharaj Parikshit. He's he's waiting for the snake to come and kill him. He even had the power to avoid the curse of the Brahmin boy. He had the power because he's a pure devotee. He doesn't mind. Let the snake come, and he's hearing from Shukadev Goswami, Pastimes of Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam, and he says he's not hunger. He has no hunger. He has no thirst. He just wants to keep hearing. So it looks like spiritual people, sometimes they're ascetics. There's this word in English, ascetic, austere. But they're not austere. They're enjoying more than we are. They think we're austere because Krishna consciousness is the real enjoyment. So the idea is, when we become more, as our spiritual life begins to grow, our Krishna consciousness expands little, step by step, then we become less interested in material satisfaction, and our material needs actually change. Our body becomes more spiritualized, and like Srila Prabhupada says, the goal is no more eating, no more sleeping. But we can't live like that. So the idea is, what I'm trying to say, that as we become more Krishna conscious, as we grow in Krishna consciousness, our material needs will decrease. But in order to get there, it's not by being more austere that our spiritual realization will increase. It's by being more Krishna conscious. So that will become, then we can become, we don't become a little austerity, but we become Krishna conscious first, and the knowledge and detachment will be byproducts of our development of Krishna consciousness. Not that we try to become so knowledgeable and so detached so that I can become Krishna conscious, But if I become Krishna conscious, I'll become knowledgeable and detached. So Srila Prabhupada, you'll probably read it sometimes in his books, that in the very beginning, little austerity, a little knowledge is required. But the real thing is to open our heart, and whatever helps us to open our heart, to accept whatever is helpful and to reject whatever is not helpful. So if it's helping you to eat less, and if it's helping you to eat more, eat more. Does it make sense? It's not necessarily so important. It's not so important. We honor these different, we have on this day, appearance day, on this day, so-and-so departure day, so many days we have, but now we fast, now this. But it's only to help us to grow. Not that we don't grow because we did the austerity, because a person can be doing austerity for a million births and not become a devotee. It's like Bahunam Janmanam Ante. Try a big jnani, cultivating knowledge, many, many births. At a certain point, he has to understand what Srila Prabhupada is giving us. You're Krishna's eternal servant, and your business is to love him. So we don't have to wait for many, many births. We can do it right now. So whatever helping you in your to feel, to cultivate in the cultivation of your spiritual, accept that Srila Rupa Goswami. Whatever's helpful, accept that, and whatever's not helpful, don't do that. Because your goal is to become devotional, and my goal is to become devotional. So, if we have integrity and sincerity, that's all. We'll know what is helpful for us. If we want to, then Srila Prabhupada says, what did he say? Drinking water underwater on a fasting day. It's a fasting day, so the devotee goes into the lake to take his bath, and he goes under the water and he drinks some water. He's cheating. But if we're honest and you say, but I need to eat in order so I can do my devotion, it's different from eating simply to become sense gratification. It's like day and night. Anyway, Hare Krishna. We're just beginners. So, but that's my understanding. So nice to see you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ishan Prabhu. Janaspriya, any concluding words? Or
well, Prabhupada kept on saying, just try to understand. He says that
try.
so often, which means that's all we have. That's all we can do is just not that we understand, but that we're trying to understand. So that's it.
Ram Prabhu, can you repeat what Janas Priya just said? I didn't hear very well.
Janaspriya Prabhu said, just try to understand. Prabhupada was saying that he was always mentioning, just try to understand. What else you're saying, Janaspriya? Not that we understand, but try to understand. Is that what you're saying, Janaspriya Prabhu?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, joy.
Well, I think he may try to understand the simplicity of this philosophy.
Joy.
You're not this body. You're a spirit soul. You're covered for a moment by this material illusion. But the best and fastest and only way to remove that covering is to start to be devotional. Start
Right.
to live on the spiritual platform. And one can do it, chapter 2, verse 72, in 1 second.
Thank you, Ishan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So, all the devotees for watching. You want to say hi, Keshav? You can say hi. Keshav is
Oh,
saying hi.
Keshava, you're showing me your mouth. You're opening your mouth wide.
Thank you, Ishan Prabhu. We'll end it here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Haribo.
Haribo.
See, this is Ramchandra's son, Keshava.
Hi, Keshava.
Thank you.
Hi.
Bye.
I need the house guy.
Yes.
Jai.